Hi guys and welcome back to another video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I thought I'd do my Premier League predictions for you guys. Not fantasy football related, but still Premier League related. I've been watching some of the pre-season games and it got me thinking about where teams are going to potentially finish, and I thought I'd share my thoughts with you guys and get some conversation going down in the comments about how well you think teams are going to perform and therefore which assets are going to do well over the Premier League season. So let's get into it. So where else to start other than dead last? I don't think this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I think that Bournemouth are going to finish 20th. Harsh to put someone at the bottom of the table, but someone's got to finish last. I don't think they've really done much in the transfer season. I can't really think of any signings they've done. They've struggled in the league they've struggled when they've been in the league before, and I just can't see much improvement in their team. I think if Solanke, he had an incredibly good season last season in the Championship. If he can get firing, I think they might have a good chance. But honestly, I cannot see them surviving relegation, and they are the most definitive team, I think, that are going to get relegated. So I'm going to put them in dead last, 20th. In 19th, we have Fulham. This is massively depending on how Mitrovic plays. We know how fantastic he is at scoring goals in the Championship. Can he replicate it in the Premier League? That's what we're all wondering. He hasn't done it previously. He scored a number of goals, but nowhere near the level in the Championship. I do like some of the transfer business they've done. The signings like Paulinho from Sporting in defensive midfield and Pereira from United in attacking midfield. I think it's some great signings. Certainly a bit better defensively and a bit more of that assist potential to Mitrovic. But I think they're going to struggle, and I do think they'll get relegated. I think it'll be close, but I think they will get relegated. So I'm going to put them in 19th. I will say that this is probably the strongest looking Premier League season we've seen in a long time. So honestly, a lot of these predictions could be incredibly wrong because every team looks pretty decent, I would say. In 18th, quite a tough one to predict here. I've gone for Southampton. Now, they have struggled in previous seasons. We obviously know about the 9-0 thrashings they've had recently. But they just somehow keep surviving, don't they? They keep lifting themselves up and getting out of the relegation zone. I think this season they won't get so lucky. I think they've been quite shaky for a while. I do like their signings though. Bazunu in goal. They got Mara up front. Lavia, I think is the midfielder. And Bella Kotchap as well in defence along with Saliba will be... I think they'll be fairly good signings. I think they'll do pretty well for some of the season, but I can just see them really dropping off near the end. They do really go on losing streaks a lot of the time. So I think as soon as they start to lose a couple of games in a row, I think it's just going to go down and down and down. I don't think they're going to be in the relegation zone for very long, but I think come the end of the season, I think they'll be in the relegation zone. So 18th for Southampton. In 17th, I've got Brentford. They've done well. They've done very well to hang on to Ivan Toney so far. The transfer window isn't closed. I'm currently filming this, by the way, on the 30th of July. The Community Shield is about to be played. So if there's any signings after that I haven't mentioned, that's why. I feel like they could suffer second season syndrome. I think they'll have a much worse season this year, but I think they'll cling on. Lewis Potter is a brilliant signing, I think. They've signed a left back as well, Hickey. And Ben Mee, I think, is a great signing at centre back. I think he's someone who can bring a lot of passion to that Brentford side. But losing Ericsson could be huge. People are talking about De Silva getting back into the side and playing that position where Ericsson was. But I think we all know that Ericsson is a relatively world-class player. And I just can't see that position really being filled by anyone they've signed. Lewis Potter, I think, will do a decent job. But I think they might see themselves in a bit of a relegation battle. But I think they'll stay up. 17th for Brentford. In 16th, we have Nottingham Forest. I think they'll stay up based on their fight and their determination, I think. And that I definitely got sucked into that promotion battle near the end of last season. I think they were excellent. And I know that they've lost a lot of players because a lot of their players were on loan last season, but they've also made some great signings. Awoni, Nico Williams as well from Liverpool. Dean Henderson as well in goal, I think, is a great pickup. He's a keeper we know has great potential, but hasn't really been able to do it at Man United because of De Gea in goal. And Lingard as well. Lingard, a great pickup, I think. We know, obviously, his form for West Ham was exceptionally good at that point. He could really kick them on. He could really do a job for Nottingham Forest, I think. I think they will stay up. I think, again, it'll be quite close. But they are, I believe, even though they were technically third to be promoted, I think they are the best looking promoted team, in my opinion. So I'm going to put them 16th. At 15th, we have Leeds. Despite losing arguably their two best players, Phillips and Rafinha, I think that combined 100 million that they've got for both of them can be spent really well on a few top quality players rather than just those two players. They did struggle last year, but that was a lot to do with injuries, and I don't think this season they'll be so unlucky. I'm not sure about Bamford. I don't know how long he'll stay fit for, but they've signed a lot of decent players. Aronson, the attacking mid. We've got Sinestra, good winger. We've got Adams, the defensive midfielder. We've got Christensen, a really nice right back. I think he could definitely score a few goals for them. And Rocker as well, the defensive midfielder. And I think they've spent around 90 million on those 5 players that I just mentioned, in comparison to the 2 they've sold. So I think they've actually strengthened their side despite losing 2 of their best players. So I think they'll do all right. I think will Leeds fans be happy with 15th? I think surviving relegation after losing your best 2 players, I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna put Leeds 15th. In 14th we have Everton. They had a horrendous season last season, but they managed to pick themselves up right when it mattered. Obviously, if you told an Everton fan they'd finish, I think it was 16th they finished last season, they would have hated that. But given the form of them near the end of last season, finishing 16th was actually not that bad, surviving relegation. I think they have to bounce back. They've got far too good of a squad to be that low in the table. I think losing Richarlison is pretty huge. But they've had a lot of good free signings. Tarkowski's a great pickup in defence. McNeil looked very good in his pre-season game. Vinagre as well, a nice cover at wing back, left back I think it is. I think they'll have a bad start to the season. I think they'll be in the relegation zone at the start of the season. But I think in January they'll use that Richarlison money and buy in a big player, and that will really lift them up into 14th position. I think they'll do all right, Everton. In 13th, we have Brighton. They had a very strange last season. I think at one point they were 4th or something, 4th or 5th. They were doing really, really well, and then they just seemed to tail off near the end of the season. And I like some of the signings they've brought in, and Siso, I think, as the second striker. Adingra, the winger, and obviously Undav, the striker. I believe he was on loan and he's come back from on loan. They're nice additions to the side. I think they'll do well. If they manage to hang on to Cucurella, I think they'll finish 13th. I think they'll do very well. Losing Bissouma as well is a big loss to Brighton's side. But I think 13th is pretty fair for Brighton. I don't think they'll drop off that much from losing Bissouma, but I don't think they'll reach the heights that they were at one point last season. In 12th position, we have Crystal Palace. I actually had Crystal Palace quite a bit higher before pre-season. I had them in about 10th or 9th. I think they could definitely get up to that height, but I just don't think they've done quite enough in their in their transfer window to really convince me that they'll get there. They've looked alright they've looked pretty good in pre-season. I think Benteke is someone who's really gone under the radar in terms of doing well. Zaha, as always, is we know how good Zaha can be on his day. I think Johnston in goal is a great pickup. I'm not too sure if he's going to play over Guaita. I think he's an upgrade on Guaita, but we'll have to wait and see which of those two keepers is the starter. Decore as well is a great addition in midfield. I think they had an incredibly good defensive record last season. I think their defense is going to be worse this season, but I think their attack is going to be better, despite not keeping Conor Gallagher. I think that one of the strikers will become nailed in that team. I know that there was a lot of rotation in that striker position. You had Ayew, Mateta, Edouard, and Benteke all fighting for that one spot, really. They didn't really play with two strikers very often. So I think one of those strikers will break out. I think it's most likely going to be Edouard, but Mateta, Benteke, I think could easily rival him as well. So I think Crystal Palace would do all right in 12th place. In 11th, we have Aston Villa. They had a very underwhelming time last season. They seemed to do really well at some point, but then they just dropped off massively. I think they finished 14th. I think Gerrard will really kick them into gear this season. I just think quite a few of the other teams have gotten a lot stronger. Although I think Aston Villa's have had one of the strongest transfer windows. They kind of splashed it all at the beginning, signing on Coutinho. Diego Carlos, I think, is a huge signing for them in centre back, and Kamara as a defensive midfielder. I think that Aston Villa are going to be very, very strong in defence. I just am a bit unsure about their attack, whether Danny Ings can stay fit, whether Watkins can get firing again. Again, Coutinho, we saw his fitness issues at the end of last season. I think Bailly has shown brilliant class in pre-season. I think he can really nail on that right wing spot. I just have some doubts about Aston Villa attacking wise, so I don't think they'll get near European football, but they'll finish very solidly in 11th place. Cracking to the top half of the table now. In 10th we have Wolves. They've had a good pre-season so far. Jimenez has just been declared injured for 8 weeks, though, which is a big loss. It's such a shame he hasn't been able to get to the heights of we know he can be since his injury. But I think Jimenez being out and definitively out of the side for 2 months will give some opportunity for some new players to shine. Maybe Neto gets a chance up front. I think I really like Hwang as a player. I think he's really going to step on it in his second season in the Premier League. Obviously, I've mentioned Neto looking sharp in pre-season, Podence as well. Collins is a nice pickup in defence. At 21 years old, he's got a lot of time to grow, and he's already had Premier League experience. I think he'll be a great signing for them. And keeping Neves so far, I think Neves is probably Wolves' best player. Such a great creative asset. I think they'll do okay and just squeeze into the top half of the table at 10th place for Wolves. In 9th place, I've gone for Leicester. Leicester have done absolutely nothing in the transfer window. I don't think they've signed or sold anyone. I know there's a lot of talk about their players going, but I've not heard anything about who they're signing. So I really can't put them any higher than 9th. I think 9th is actually quite generous for Leicester, given their form from the previous season. We know how great Leicester can be, but I just don't see them really competing with any of the top teams this year. We all know how dangerous Barnes and the likes of Barnes and Maddison and Vardy can be when they're fit and playing. I just worry for the defence of Leicester. They had a lot of injuries last year, but they didn't really have definitive starters in the back line. They were constantly rotating. I think if they can nail on a back line that is completely fit, the likes of Justin, Castagna, we know how good Pereira can be, Soyuncu, Fafana, if they can all stay fit, I think Leicester can do really well. They can finish a lot higher than 9th, but I think 9th is quite a fair evaluation of where they're at right now. Moving on to 8th place, I've gone with Newcastle. Now, Newcastle are an interesting side because nobody really knows how they're going to get on. We obviously saw at the end of last season they really improved. Remember at the beginning of last season they were firmly bottom of the table. I think they hadn't got a win in 10 games. But then all that money came in and they made some great signings and they've really moved on. I think they will challenge for Europe this year, but I don't think they'll quite get there this year. Botman is a fantastic signing in defence. We know he's defensively solid, and Wilson being fit for a season will, I think, get them close to European football. Now, there is talks at the moment of them signing Maddison for a 40 million fee. I think if they get Maddison in their team, I think that will be the push to get them to European football. And also taking a player from a close rival in Leicester, I think will get them there. But I think without that big signing like that, I think Botman is a great pickup. But I just don't think they'll quite get there yet this season. I think it'll take a couple more seasons for them to get there. So I put Newcastle in 8th. In 7th, I've gone for West Ham. Now, I had West Ham at 8th a couple days ago, but now they have finally signed Skamaka up front. Really, really talented youngster. I've not really watched him, but I've seen a lot of his highlights, and he looks like a great talent for them to have. And Ødegaard in defence, a great pickup as well. So I think they'll be stronger defensively and offensively as well. I just think the top 6 teams they've improved too much for the other teams to keep up. So I don't think West Ham are going to get above 7th. I think Bowen won't have quite as good of a season as he did last season, but I think the rest of the team will improve, and it will still get them solidly into that 7th position. I think they'll stay ahead of Newcastle, but I don't think they'll be able to break into the top 6 this season. In 6th position, getting into the top 6. Now this is interesting. I've gone with Man United. I think they'll have a strong start to the season, but I can see them fading near to the end of the season. I think they'll be in the top 4 for a long time. I think until the halfway point, I think they'll be in the top 4, but I think they'll just tail off near the end of the season. I think they can. It's a real mental game, and I think they can get into some losing streaks. Their heads start going down when they start losing. Their signings have been really good, though. I do like their signings. Martinez at centre back has been a great pickup. Ericsson as well, a great choice in midfield. Malacia as well in defence, I think is huge. I really like Malacia. I've seen him in the preseason games. I think he looks really good. I honestly think he will be Man United's best signing this season. I think he'll really, if he's given the game time over Luke Shaw, I think he'll really prove himself get himself into the first team and be a great pickup for them offensively and defensively. I think to stand any chance to get top 4, I think they need that big midfielder like De Jong. They've been in talks for so long. I think they need that midfielder to stand any chance of getting in the top 4. So, but at the moment, I've got them in 6th position. Now, 5th position, I don't know how controversial this choice is going to be, but I've put Chelsea in 5th position. I know they were definitively the 3rd best team last year, but I just don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. I think the other teams I've put above them will just have a better season. They were looking a bit shaky at the end of last season. They were conceding quite a few goals despite being a great defence. They were leaking a lot of goals, and losing Rudiger I think is a huge loss. I know they've signed Koulibaly to hopefully be his replacement. Will he be as good as Rudiger? I'm not too sure about that. Sterling's an interesting signing. I think he is what they need in terms of a goal threat. But whether he performs to the heights of what Chelsea need to get to the top 4, I'm not too sure. I think they've missed out on so many of their transfer targets that I just don't see them quite getting into the top 4. I see it being snatched away by some of the other teams. They need to score more goals, and I don't know if Sterling is quite going to do it for them. So I've got Chelsea in 5th place. Now into the Champions League spots. This has changed as of today. This has changed. So in 4th place, I have gone for Spurs. I think they will get Champions League football. They've had a very strong transfer window. The likes of Richarlison, Bissouma, Spence, Perisic, Longley. Conte is really establishing his own style of play at Tottenham. I think Kane and Son will have really good seasons again. I can see Son easily winning the Golden Boot again. and Kane as well, really firing with the goals and assists. They've got depth in a lot of areas. They could honestly be challenging for, maybe not quite the title, but they could certainly be rivaling the likes of Liverpool and Man City. I just don't see them quite getting to the top three. I think they'll beat out the likes of Chelsea and Man United, but I don't see them getting any higher than that, despite all the talent they've brought in. I think Spurs will finish in fourth. In third place, I have gone for Arsenal. They have been on fire in pre-season. As I've been recording this video, they've just won 6-0 against Sevilla. Obviously, I've not been watching the game, so I don't know how good Sevilla were. But I think their signings have been really, really strong. I think they've probably had one of, if not the strongest transfer window. I think Jesus is a fantastic pickup. He's a big upgrade on Lacazette. He's already Premier League proven. We know how good Jesus is, but he never got the statistics because he hasn't had as much game time at Man City. So I think with the game time at Arsenal, he'll be a really strong threat. I think he'll be a good contender for the Golden Boot as well. Zinchenko is a great pickup. Fabio Vieira as well. These are all really talented players. They've got Saliba as well, who's back from loan in defence, who I think was was Player of the Year or something in League One, or Defender of the Year, something like that. He was in the Team of the Year, and they're starting to look a lot more like the days of old, the likes of Henry and Bergkamp. They're not quite there yet, but they're starting to build the foundation of it. I think Arsenal are really going to be hard to beat this year. I think they're going to win a lot of games. They're going to score a lot of goals, and I think they're going to finish in third place. Now the top two. The top two, it's always going to be tough to choose between Liverpool and Man City. I am a Liverpool fan myself. I don't know if you can see that. They see the badge. This is a Liverpool away kit from last year. Is bias going to play a part into my thinking? Yes. Yes, it is. In second place, I've gone for Man City. I think they've had some incredibly good signings. Haaland, one of the best players in the world. Any team would take Haaland in a heartbeat. And Phillips as well, a great addition. I don't think he's not on the level of Rodri, but if he can provide backup or be utilised somehow in Pep Guardiola's team, he can do really well. I just think that losing the likes of Sterling and Jesus will actually hurt City more than people might think. Despite them not being regular starters, I just think having that flexibility of those two players, and they really started to kick on. We saw how good Jesus was at the end of last season. I think with Haaland being in the team, despite how good he is, I just think it will shake them up in terms of getting adapted to that new style of play. I think City will do really well in the Champions League this year. I can see them getting to the final, but I just don't see them winning the league this year. Again, I'm a Liverpool fan, so take my opinion with a grain of salt because I'm going to be a bit biased here. I just think Haaland will get onto a slow start. I think De Bruyne will somehow be their main asset for goals. Whether De Bruyne outscores Haaland, I'm not too sure, but I just think everyone is underestimating De Bruyne again, just because Haaland's the new kid on the block. I think De Bruyne will have a fantastic season, but I don't see them. I see them being pipped to the post. I know Liverpool are normally the ones pipped to the post, but I see them just being pipped at the very end of the season. And at number one, I have put Liverpool winning the title. There, obviously, I have a slight bias, but I think they will have a fantastic season this year. I think the likes of Diaz are really going to kick on. I think Nunez, he's been shaky in pre-season, but he scored 4 goals in one game. I think that was a little bit of a fluke. He had a penalty where it just scraped in, but he's clearly got that potential for goals. And I think, like Haaland, he will have a slow start as well. I think that battle between Nunez and Haaland is going to be really good. Obviously, Haaland is the more proven, but I think they will both have slow starts, but both really kick on as the season progresses. I think the likes of Thiago will be the players that definitively get Liverpool the title. Just so much creativity from Thiago. I think teams were starting to get used to Liverpool's style of play, but I just think this season they'll do something a bit different. And obviously the likes of Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, and of course Salah having great seasons as well. Cavallo and Ramsey as well for great backup. I don't know. A lot of this is just it's heart over head here. I just think that despite the huge loss of Mane, I think Diaz can rise to the level of Mane. He's not on that level right now, but we've seen his talents already at the end of last season. I think over a whole season he will really kick on. And yeah, I just see Liverpool pipping City to the title. So there you are, guys. There are my Premier League predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's not fantasy football content. I probably won't have many other videos like this, but just getting my thoughts about pre-season made me think I want to do a video on my predictions of where I think the teams are going to finish. And it's something I'd like to look on at the end of the season and see, was I miles off? Was I relatively close to some predictions? I'm interested to see. Please let me know. Please let me know your guys' thoughts on where you think teams are going to finish. Have I got anything drastically wrong? Do you think I've suggested something that you are also agreeing with that not many people are talking about? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Please like the video if you enjoyed, get subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.